I think it's safe to say that the past year has been a challenge, to say the least, for us all. Never before in our lifetimes have we experienced such adversity on this scale. The outbreak of the COVID-19 virus has forced the world to press pause. Our lives, the way we knew them, ground to a halt. Almost everywhere fell silent as we discovered a new world of Zoom calls, online quizzes, which we won't talk about, and rainbows. So what do you do when everything in the outside world stops and you're left with your thoughts? Whilst the world is on pause, our brains are on fast forward. Pre-lockdown, many of us, including myself, created a busy lifestyle as a way to quieten our busy minds, a coping mechanism of sorts. I would always be doing something, leaving no time to sit with my own thoughts and get to know myself as a person. If your brain is constantly occupied, there's less time to overthink, right? Since the age of 11, I have struggled significantly with my mental health. This all came to a head 4 years ago when I was hospitalised with an eating disorder, anxiety, and severe depression. Mental illness took away everything that made me, me, and I had absolutely no hope for my future. I found myself in complete and utter darkness, and it was crushing. I couldn't see a way out. I remember thinking, is this really it? Isn't there more to life than feeling so awful all the time? And it was awful. I decided I was tired of feeling awful and I was going to fight for my life back. Now, in reality, it wasn't as clear-cut as that. Rediscovering who I was amongst all of this was tough. My eating disorder had infiltrated every single aspect of my life, and I had no idea who I was without it. It took many, many months and lots of hard work, and there were so many times where I nearly gave up again, but I didn't. Living with my mental health issues is an ongoing journey, but I'm heading in the right direction, and I learn something new about myself every day. I started to become involved in mental health advocacy and campaigning here in Birmingham. I became a member of the mental health youth board, Think for Brum, and was asked to represent them as the diversity and inclusion lead at a national conference for child and paediatric health. At school, I designed and delivered workshops for Year 7 students called Self-Care Isn't Selfish, and I helped implement the government's Green Paper on improving children and young people's mental health provisions in primary schools across our city. Very soon, my life became speaking at mental health conferences, contributing to pioneering research, and sharing my experiences with others up and down the country. I discovered that mental health campaigning was my calling. It gave me a whole new purpose and direction in life when I needed it the most. I could use my experiences, my journey, my voice to create meaningful change. I received the Diana Award and a Points of Light Award from the Prime Minister, and I was appointed the West Midlands Combined Authority Mental Health Superstar. I was finally living my best life. And then COVID-19 appeared. Suddenly, all the coping techniques I used to help me in my ongoing recovery became inaccessible to me. I couldn't see my friends, go to therapy, or be an activist in the same way. I felt my world shrinking again, collapsing in on itself with me in the middle, just like it had when I was in hospital. Of course, the pandemic has been incredibly difficult for everyone, but it has been especially difficult for those with pre-existing mental health conditions, those who have fought so hard to become well and have now been thrown the curveball that is COVID-19. Whilst everyone else's lives had paused, my mind went into overdrive, thinking, rethinking, overthinking, and the pace was quicker than ever. The words mental health are on everyone's lips. How is this pandemic affecting the well-being of young people? Will we ever go back to normal? What even is normal? The truth is that mental illness was a hugely prevalent issue before the pandemic. The only difference is that now people are more willing to talk about it. It's important to remember that mental illness can be different for everyone, but for me personally, my depression loved lockdown. It was the perfect breeding ground for this monster in my head to completely take over, and take over it did. Depression's best friend is anxiety. Not just health anxiety about COVID-19, but also, especially for young people, the fear of missing out on key milestones such as going to prom or graduating. I've realised that time is really significant for young people in particular. How can we plan for our futures when we don't even know what our futures will look like? We're told that your teenage years are the best years of your life, but are they? There is so much pressure to create memories and make loads of friends, but it's also okay to take things slowly sometimes. Looking after yourself is so important, global pandemic or not. We've tried online socials, daily walks, and even baking copious amounts of banana bread. But it actually doesn't matter what you do, as long as it works for you. Spending time with yourself can be uncomfortable. As humans, we have an innate need to be social and to spend time with each other. During this pandemic, this socialising has found a wholly online platform. We have spent hours upon hours on our phones. But is this digital connection enough? We find ourselves in a strange hybrid of being both connected and disconnected. Even when we are by ourselves, without the physical presence of others, we're not really alone because we are constantly connected to the outside world through notifications and messages. How would you feel if I asked you to turn your phone off for a whole day? I have to be honest and say that this idea does make me uneasy. There are so many things that could go wrong. I could miss something important. And the idea of what is important is subjective in itself. For some people, it may be missing an Instagram post from their favourite influencer. For others, it could be missing a phone call. But the real question here is, why are we so afraid to press pause? To let things happen around us without feeling the need to immediately engage with them, to actually address the issues we struggle with. Maybe this is the pause we needed. Running away from your thoughts isn't dealing with them, and when everything came to a stop, many of us were forced to confront the uncomfortable thoughts and feelings we had been distracting ourselves from for so long. During this pandemic, we have seen the resilience of our species. Sharing Sharing an experience on a global level is very rare, and yet over the past year we have all come together as an international community. It hasn't always been easy, of course, but at times we have seen an outpouring of kindness, gratitude and community spirit. People united, looking out for their neighbours and doing what they could to help the local effort. The pandemic is an opportunity for us to reconsider the priorities in our lives. Spending time with those you love has gained a whole new meaning. A pause can be a beautiful thing. Right now, obviously, we just want to get going again, to go out, see our friends and go to parties. But maybe this is the world telling us to slow down. Of course, you should absolutely live life to the fullest, take opportunities and be spontaneous. But as young people, there's this feeling that we always need to do more, to be more. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are enough. Together or apart, we are enough, and there is always time to press pause on life and take a break. Whether that's turning your phone off for a few days and taking a break from social media, going for a walk, calling a friend, there is always time to reassess what is important and what you hold to be true. Your day consists of 24 hours. Even if you spend half an hour looking after yourself, doing something for you, there is still almost 98% of the day left. Mental health issues are so complex, but the little things can make a world of difference. They are the foundation stones for better mental health. So learn to connect with yourself. The smallest steps are still of movement in the right direction. So start small. Inject moments of joy into your life by doing the things that you love and doing them for you. Until we can press play again, keep on keeping on. We are stronger than we think. Thank you.